Hi, and welcome to Podium, session 022. And for the last 4 or 5 weeks, we have been having guests on the show, and we've had Adam Ash and Grayson Hart and the lovely and wonderful Dr. George Pransky. And so this week I thought it's a lovely opportunity for me to catch up with you and let you know what it is that shifted for me, what's moved for me, what do I see and realise deeply more now than I did a few weeks ago. So yesterday in Kent, the M20 and the M25, which are the major motorways, were absolutely jammed. And I set off my day at 6 o'clock for a Bob group meeting. That's business over breakfast networking meeting. And I really love these meetings, chance to just get together with people and just share. And it's very friendly and I love it. And I set off in the morning, and on the way back, I got stuck in the traffic, and it was just jammed. It was just a half an hour to do 5 minutes journey, and I just noticed, first of all, a little bit of irritation, and then I realised, no, that's pointless because I'm going to sit here anyway, so I might as well just sit here and really just enjoy the space, the time, and looking out the window, and so it wasn't a problem to me. And then later on in the day, I needed to go out again, and I went a different way and met up with a friend, and on the way home, I took that turning, and when you just take a turning and you realise, there it was again, and the same traffic jam 4 hours later because the motorway had closed, but I was approaching it from a different direction, so I didn't realise it was the same one. And there was just a very quick realization that, this is just the way it is. There's no point in me getting frustrated. And I knew that my frustration in any case wouldn't be coming from the traffic jam. It would be coming from thought in the moment. And that as a human being, I have the powers of discernment to know whether or not those thoughts are worth going with. It's like going to the garage, going to the petrol station, wherever you live in the world, and filling your car up with water instead of gas or petrol. You just wouldn't do that because you know how it works. You know that your car doesn't run on water, it runs on petrol or gas, whatever you want to call it. And for me, I'm stuck in that traffic jam, and I had the same understanding that, no, Denise, your experience works one way. It works from the inside out. The psychological paradigm that we all live in is such that we project our realities out into the world. And they can be absolutely anything. It's an infinite deal. So to continue the story, I actually was late, really late getting home, and I'd used up a whole hour in the traffic, which was my hour to listen to a wonderful program on Skype. And I didn't have that, so I came in, I rushed around, I got ready, and I could feel that my mental state was fluctuating. I could just feel it. I could feel myself getting tight and upset, and I could feel myself, no, it's okay. It is just your thinking, Denise. It's fine. And then I came home, and there's some things weren't done at home, and I started to have judgment around that. And I went off to training, and I halfway there, and I realised, oh my goodness, I haven't got any equipment with me. I've forgotten it all. Now, this is not great for the lead coach. So what happened next was I had a thought, pull over and call my assistant coach and ask her if she could bring some equipment. Otherwise, I was going to need to go back half an hour and then take that journey again, and by which time the coaching session would have been over. Now, normally, I perhaps would have berated myself if it would have been in a time before I had any understanding of how our mental life works. I would have been really hard on myself. And in that space of berating and getting upset, I probably wouldn't have had the fresh new thought, wisdom, show up in that moment to show me the way. Pull over, Denise, call a friend, see if they can bring the equipment. And although for a couple of minutes, yes, I had a low kind of a feeling state, which was I was embarrassed, and I wasn't trying to get out of that feeling state. No. I was just sat with it because I knew deep down that would go all by itself, and that wasn't me. You see, there's that discernment again. I knew that my feeling state isn't who and what I am as a human being. It's just the mechanism by which we all get to feel and experience life. And that by knowing that, deeply, profoundly realizing that, I was able to arrive at training and lead the session and have nothing on the last hour, and actually not take any of what had happened to me during the day into that session. I was completely free to show up in that moment. Now, by the time I got home, it was a different matter, and I got through the front door, and I had already asked my son to get some shopping because he was there all day. And he did, and he got the shopping and he cooked the dinner and it was lovely. And then my daughter came home and she was on the phone, and just little things started to happen in my mind. Lydia was on the phone, James ate his dinner and went back downstairs to his room and was talking to his friends online. But in my head, it started to build again. And what happened was really funny. But at the time, it didn't feel funny. I was totally in it. And I didn't see it as thought. And my performance in life, my performance in that at that time, or my behaviours, you might want to say, or my responses were not pretty. Because I started to get all upset and a little bit, poor me, nobody wants to talk to me in this house. This might as well just be an HMO. People just come and go with their own keys to their own rooms. There's no communal chat here. And I felt used, and all of those really low-level thoughts that we get when we start to head towards, if you like, we call it in this work, the basement of psychological functioning. You give meaning to one thought, then that must mean this. And by the end of it, I was a really bad parent. And I felt hard done by. So I went to bed. And I'm lying in bed and I'm really getting upset. And I could feel it. And suddenly I thought, oh my goodness, I can feel my thinking. I know this is thinking. And I started to lighten up. But a part of my personal mind said, no. I want you here. This is you. You're right here, Denise, to be upset. And at that point, I had an insight of, oh my word, this is just going to look very different in the morning. And I text my son downstairs, said, sorry, I'm just having a lot of thinking. I called Lydia in and said I loved her, and I'm just really caught up right now, and this looks really real to me right now. And she said, I love you, Mummy, and I'll see you in the morning. And sure enough, today's the day. It's the morning after. And I feel great, and it's all gone. All of that experience brought to me by my feeling state, brought to me by the power of thought, and the thoughts, therefore, that I engage in, which becomes then my personal thinking, and then it becomes my belief systems and my perspective in that moment. All of that has changed. It's just a wonderful thing to know. It's a real gift. So when we look at sports performance, It's no different. Performance comes through us. It comes through our physical bodies. And it's brought to us by this spiritual, formless energy of all things. And that we cannot control. That energy comes into us via the power of thought. And as human beings, we have the powers of discernment to go with, to bring to life, to engage in any one of those thoughts. Or we can just let them go, because they're not us. And it seems to me that the world of sport is still caught up in trying to manage and force and control performance. We can't, as human beings, control performance. Yes, there are skills to be learned and tuned, and there is a neurological pathway. But the power by which we are all fueled is formless. And the more we look in that direction, the closer we get to feeling its truth, feeling the essence of it, and understanding how it works, its nature. And on one level, sports people absolutely know that when they get thinking, they don't have to go with it. At the beginning of a match, you get thinking. It causes nervous feelings in the body. The body goes tight, but we know not to take any notice of it. We know that as soon as the whistle goes, we know that is going to change. And we get on with the game. We get on with the match. Yet we spend so much time before performance, during training, trying to control and manipulate and fine-tune particular aspects of performance that are going to happen in the future, instead of seeing that performance comes through us in the moment. And that if we do get any distracting thinking, so what? It'll go. The nature of it is such that it falls away naturally. We have what we call a psychological immune system. It is self-correcting. It doesn't need us, the person, to start to deal with and cope with all of the thoughts that come into our mind as if they're relevant. No. That would be like deciding you don't like a cloudy day and sending up a little bit of a rocket ship and moving them. I don't want the clouds today, thank you very much, so I'm not going to have them. And physically trying to do something about it. That would be ridiculous. And yet, that's how this all seems to me now. And I really felt it when I woke up this morning. I was laughing because how many of us just absolutely know this already without having any understanding of the three principles behind the human experience as uncovered by Sydney Banks? We already know this. We can already feel this because this is how we work. And whether we've been introduced to this, if you like, formal explanation of how it works or not, we know how it works. We know we're not our thinking. and we can see the transient, arbitrary nature of our thinking. We know that we get over losses really quickly, or it takes us a week. But we know that's not who we are because we can see and feel that experience. So who and what is it that's seeing that? I love getting behind the lens of experience because it's really taken us closer to the source of who and what we really are as beings. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the show today. I've certainly enjoyed this conversation with you. And I am holding an event very soon on Thursday, the 29th of June, 2017, at the Holiday Inn, Rootham, Sevenoaks, Kent. And it's for business people because I see that there's so much the world of business could take from the world of high performance sport. And especially in this work of understanding the human mind. And so we have an event, and I've called it Demystify the Mind to Create Effective Business Relationships. And to register for that event, just drop me an email, denise.holland@class-performance.com, and I will send you the URL to register. It's a low-cost event, just £30 for the evening. And I think we're going to have a really interesting and enjoyable time together. So until we meet each other again, good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to sharing and being with you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.